Are you looking for a place as a student where you can develop ambition, curiosity, courage, kindness, and develop the confidence to embrace who you are as an individual and to embrace life as a future leader? Well, this morning we have an opportunity for you. Let me take a moment to just welcome to the Now Morning Show the principal of King's College School in Bahamas, Matteo Rossetti. He joins us online. Good morning to you, Matteo.
Good morning, Rokas.
How are you doing this morning?
Very good, thank you. An early rise for me in the Bahamas, but I'm really delighted to be here to talking to you and the country about our new school.
And I thank you very much for waking up so early to join us, because I think this is very, very important information that we should be sharing. First of all, tell me a little bit about the Inspired Education Group and, of course, King's College.
Yeah, so King's College School, the Bahamas, our school, is part of Inspired Education Group. And Inspired is a global group of 118, actually now 120 schools across the world, and educating 90,000 students. And it's the leading global group of premium schools. And is born really out of an idea, the idea of what can happen and what impact can I have in education if I bring together some of the best schools across the world and then create incredible opportunities for the students to connect with one another, for exchanges across the different schools, incredible opportunities for teachers, being able to really recruit some of the best teachers in the world, and really empowering them, and crucially, with best practices, best educational practices from across the world. And then adding to that cutting-edge technology, and that's really the idea behind this. And we have, when I talk about some of these schools, I'm talking about, for example, our schools in Spain, 5 of the top 10, including the best one. School in South Africa, best school in South Africa, in Australia, the same. Our school in Italy, in Milan, is the highest achieving IB, International Baccalaureate Diploma School. In Europe for 6 years in a row. And you imagine what an incredible opportunity for an educator like me, for example, or any of the other heads across the group, to be able to tap into those best practices and bring them to our own schools.
Nice, and to say the least, it's very inspiring to hear these kind of stats that you're laying out before us. But tell me, as a student in Trinidad and Tobago, somebody who's looking for that extra education, why would I take interest, particularly in coming to the Bahamas and King's College School?
Yeah, because actually what we've done now, so first of all, we brought this school to the Bahamas because actually the founder of the whole group, Nsouli, his family is Bahamian. His home is Nassau, his family is Bahamian, and we wanted to give back to the Bahamas all that we've learned from across the world. And now really is the opportunity to bring this to the whole region of the Caribbean and beyond, because now we're creating a boarding house, a boarding school, King's Beach Lodge, which is going to open in August and is going to be able to give a real full immersion into this education, which one would have expected, this is only going to be open and accessible to students from big cities like New York, London, Singapore. Here, to the Bahamas and to the whole region. So we're going to have 50, up to nearly 50 boarding places, and we'll be able to welcome students from across the archipelago of the Bahamas, but across the whole region of the Caribbean, and give them a truly global education that rivals some of the best schools across the world, and is going to give them opportunities to develop academically, but also personally, and give them opportunities for access also in some of the best universities of the world, and really opportunities for life and develop into impactful leaders, which is what we want for our students.
Of course. Now, Matteo, you mentioned the beachfront boarding house, and, I can't help but think, how difficult must it be to manage, being at a beachfront boarding house and still making sure you get your education? Tell me the concept behind the beachfront boarding house.
Yeah, I think that, we did a lot of research around this, and we looked around, and I think it's the only boarding house which is on the beach anywhere in the world. So we're extremely lucky. It's on a beach called Love Beach, and it's absolutely stunning location. And we thought, well, wow, here in the Caribbean and in the Bahamas, what an incredible opportunity to make the most of our unique natural geography and environment. We're going to have that location that is going to allow us to have education directly in close contact on the beach. We're going to be able to, we have a reef opposite the school, opposite the boarding house. The students will be able to do scuba diving, snorkeling, marine science, conservation right there in firsthand, deeply embedded in that environment. And I think that's going to be absolutely unique. Having said that, we're also obviously bringing in expertise from across the world, where I was talking about the opportunity to bring in really best practices from across the world. We have other boarding schools there. We're bringing in a tremendous head of boarding who's going to lead that, because ultimately what's important is that we create an environment which feels like a home from home, where the students feel welcome and feel safe and encouraged to embrace their education full-heartedly as well.
Completely understood. Tell me about the Scholars Program, the Nsouli Scholars Programme.
Yes, absolutely. So we have, our idea is always one of expanding and bringing a global level of education and give it as much access as possible. The Nsouli program is absolutely part of this. It is a global initiative which is aimed to have a transformational impact on students. It's a very personal story. It comes from our founder, Nadim Nsouli, who I've mentioned already, who was born and grew up in war-torn Lebanon. And then, because of his parents' incredible focus on education, left there and was able to thrive at university, became first a lawyer, then moved into to create Inspired, this transformational education group, and really is trying to bring that same ethos. We're looking for students who are of age 13 and above, who excel in at least two of our three pillars. So we talk about academics, performing arts, and sports. They need to excel in the academics, but also either in the performing arts and sports, and be students who really have a vision and ambition. We want students who have the drive and effort to really actualize their potential. And then what we give them is 100% totally free education in any of our schools worldwide, and the opportunity to develop academically, but also personally, not only through our three pillars approach in education, but also through support via mentorship schemes, networking, and also the development of executive functioning skills. So that really they can grow up into the leaders of tomorrow and have a really strong impact in their communities.
Now, you mentioned age 13 is from 13 and up we can apply, right? Is there an upper limit?
Yes, absolutely. No, there isn't an upper limit. So you can also apply, Rokas, whether you're 15, 16. And really what we're looking for is the processes. Applications are open now. We have a website, and students can submit those applications, the documentation that the website requires. We do a first selection, a first shortlist. After that, we have electronic, let's say, we do cognitive tests. Right. Verbal reasoning, non-verbal reasoning. After that, we have interviews, and then a panel evaluates all of the applications that they receive worldwide, and those are then issued. And the scholarships are issued at the end of May this year.
All right, so fantastic. But what's interesting for me is this sounds like it's what our version of secondary school education would be. So it's at that level.
Yes, absolutely.
Does that mean that you follow the Cambridge University curriculum?
Yeah, so, and again, this is for me as an educator, when we came and started King's College School, the Bahamas, one of the best things was being able to tap into some of this best practice from these educators across the group. What we know as a group from all of our schools, we know that the best outcomes for students at university and beyond come if we do, in the last 2 years of school, either VIB diploma or A-levels. And before that, we do Cambridge International GCSEs. So that's how we've set up our schools, based on that knowledge, based on that understanding. So we follow Cambridge International GCSEs up to the age of 16. And then in the last 2 years, students can either choose to follow the IB diploma or international A-levels. So really tailoring the offer to what is going to suit them best is all really about individualizing the approach. That's, for me, is absolutely fundamental. It can't be a one-size-fits-all education. It needs to be individualized to the student, because only by doing that, we can then allow those students to thrive and flourish. And we talk about embrace your individuality and preparing leaders. That's how we do it, by individualizing that approach.
Sounds very, very interesting. One of the things that I want to ask you before we go this morning is, as a parent, how do you convince me to send my 13-year-old child to the Bahamas?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I can tell you I'm a parent myself, and I have 2 of my kids at my own school, and they didn't want to join me initially because they said they didn't want to be in a school with their daddy headmaster. But actually. But actually, they've been absolutely flourishing. So, Rokas, I can tell you that first of all, it's an environment where students flourish, thrive. And what I believe is that we need to educate students to be ambitious and aim high. We need to instill in them curiosity and spark that love of learning. We need to encourage students to embrace challenge, step outside of their comfort zone, and do so in an environment which is loving, caring, and where there is mutual support. A boarding house is going to, and King's Beach Lodge is going to be able to provide access to that kind of education, holistic education, where students benefit from best educational practices from across the world, from teachers who are really the best in their field. Last year, for 15 places, I had 1,200 applications from across the world. Teachers who are really the best in their field, from opportunities which are not only in the Bahamas, but across the world. You have students who are able to go on exchanges to the Bahamas from our other schools. What an incredibly rich environment that is going to be, so interesting culturally, but also for our own students to go and spend half a semester in our school in Switzerland, half a semester in our school in Italy. What incredible opportunity. You're creating these global students and really expanding their horizons. That is so important for them to be able to then thrive. You're doing that, creating those opportunities, giving them the teachers, giving them best practices from across the world, all in an idyllic environment, which also really deeply connects them to the Caribbean heritage is so important, and an understanding of where they come from. And I think that is what is going to be truly unique for them.
Matteo, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing this information, and congratulations in advance, because I know the applications are going to come rolling in from today.
Thank you, Rokas. Well, listen, I'm going to be over actually in Trinidad and Tobago in early March, and I'm going to be doing there actually some presentations. So maybe next time we can meet in person, and I can come and see you there in the studio.
Yeah, man. I look forward to it. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Matteo Rossetti. He's the principal of King's College School in the Bahamas, and he's telling us a little bit about the Nsouli Scholars Programme for students 13 and up. Head across to the website and check it out for more information. We'll be right back after this break.